At 29, Daniel had become very good at saying, "Not yet." Not yet for the business he wanted to start. Not yet for the course he had promised himself he would take. Not yet for the life he kept imagining whenever he was alone. He had 100 reasons. He needed more money, a better laptop, more experience, more confidence. And because every reason sounded reasonable, Daniel never noticed that they were all saying the same thing: wait. Daniel worked at a small printing shop. He was good with design. Customers often asked him to create posters, wedding invitations, business flyers, and logos. His co-workers told him he should start taking clients for himself. He always smiled. Soon, he would say, soon became 2 years. One Friday evening, Daniel learned that the shop owner had hired someone younger to manage the design department. Daniel had expected to be chosen. When he asked why the position went to someone else, his manager simply said, "You never showed me that you wanted it." That sentence stayed with him. That night, Daniel opened a folder on his laptop called My Business. Inside were 12 unfinished designs. Some were 3 years old. He stared at them. He hadn't failed because he lacked talent. He had failed because he kept waiting to feel ready. The next morning, Daniel visited his father, Samuel. His father was 63 and spent his weekends repairing old radios and electrical appliances in a small workshop behind the house. Daniel told him what had happened. His father listened. Then he asked, "So what are you going to do?" Daniel sighed. "I don't know. Maybe I'll wait until I have enough money to start properly." His father smiled. "Enough money for what?" Daniel didn't answer. "A better computer?" Daniel nodded. "More customers?" Another nod. "More confidence?" Daniel looked away. His father put down the screwdriver. "Daniel, can I tell you something?" "Sure." "When I was your age, I thought life would eventually give me the right moment. I thought I needed more money, more time, fewer responsibilities. I kept thinking that once everything was in place, I would finally do the things I wanted." He paused. "Do you know what happened?" Daniel shook his head. "I got older." The room became quiet. His father continued. "Life didn't become easier. I just became better at explaining why I couldn't begin." Then he said something Daniel would remember for the rest of his life. "Don't make a decision based on the life you hope you'll have someday. Make one based on the time you actually have." Daniel looked around the workshop. For the first time, he understood. Waiting felt safe. But waiting was also a decision, and Daniel had been making that decision every day. They talked for nearly an hour. Before Daniel left, his father handed him an old notebook. "Write down what you want to start," he said. "I already know. Then write it down anyway." Daniel opened the notebook. On the first page, he wrote, "Start with what I have." That was the last real conversation Daniel ever had with his father. 3 days later, Samuel died unexpectedly in his sleep. Daniel was devastated, but one sentence kept returning to him. Make one based on the time you actually have. For months, Daniel carried those words with him. He didn't suddenly become successful. He still had bills. He still had doubts. But he stopped waiting for those things to disappear. He created one design every evening after work. Then he showed his work to people. He accepted small jobs. He saved a little money. He took an online course using the computer he already had instead of waiting for a better one. Some months were terrible. One client refused to pay him. Another disappeared halfway through a project. He nearly quit twice. But this time, quitting was no longer his automatic response. He had learned the difference between preparation and postponement. Preparation helps you move forward. Postponement helps you feel comfortable while staying exactly where you are. A year later, Daniel left the printing shop. Not because everything was perfect, because he had finally learned to move while things were imperfect. His business was still small, but it was his. And whenever someone asked how he found the courage to begin, Daniel thought about that morning in his father's workshop. He realized something painful and beautiful. We often imagine that we are waiting for the right moment, but sometimes the moment is waiting for us. The truth is, you may never feel completely ready. You may never have enough money, enough confidence, enough time, or enough certainty. But you can still take the next honest step, because one day you will look back at your life and realize that some of the biggest decisions were not the ones you made. They were the ones you kept postponing. So if there is something you have been saying one day about for years, ask yourself, what can I begin with what I already have? Then begin. Not because everything is ready, but because your life is already moving, and you don't get to choose whether time passes. You only get to choose what you do with it. If Daniel's story taught you something, maybe it's this. Change doesn't happen because we suddenly become motivated. It happens when we start taking small, consistent actions. And if you're serious about becoming more disciplined in your own life, I've created something that can help. It's called the 30-Day Discipline Workbook. It's a digital workbook designed to help you take action, reflect on your progress, build consistency, and become more disciplined, one day at a time. You can download it and start your 30-day journey at your own pace. I've placed the link in the description, and I have also pinned it in the comments so you can easily find it. If you're ready to stop waiting and start building better habits, check it out. Your next 30 days could be the beginning of a different version of you.